evening and welcome to Side21 and tonight's episode of Side21 and Fantasy in Media, aka popular fantasy. We're going to talk about all those things that we love from movies, television shows, video games, and books, and what's cool about them and what's lame about them. My name is Hunter Grunman. It is my pleasure to host this wonderful panel, though. Let's go ahead and introduce them now. We've got Jason.
Hello.
We've got Hunter Douglas.
Howdy.
We have Aaron Hammontree.
Hello.
And Braden Kai. Welcome.
Hello.
To the show. How's everybody doing?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Not bad.
Sounds like a fun
Good.
topic.
Ready to talk about some fantasy in media?
Yeah.
Oh,
Always,
absolutely.
to whoever will listen.
Okay. Please listen, by the way. Like and subscribe. So let's go ahead and jump right in. The first question that I want to pose to you, I think this is going to kind of lay a foundation of everything that comes after it, is what does fantasy mean to you? Is fantasy something very specific, like, you know, sword and sorcery, or can fantasy apply across multiple genres? What do we think, guys?
I mean, to me, fantasy is just like just that, like fantasy. It is a fantastical story. So it could be sci-fi, it could be magic, it could be like cyberpunk, you know, mixture of magic and tech science, you know, it could be all the same crud. And to me, that's all fantasy as long as it's got like an epic storyline behind it somewhere.
Yeah, like
Okay,
anything that exists outside of our physical world, I feel like could probably be categorized in a way. Like, and I wouldn't. You can really say like all fiction because like sometimes fiction is in a normal world. It's just not real people and stuff, you know. But
I was going to say it's to a degree because you know, any fiction, you got to be careful what you're calling fantasy. You know, I can write a fiction about, you know, anything, and if as long as it's obtainable in the real world, I think that's where you draw your line. But like, I agree with Aaron. You know, I dare someone to tell me Dune isn't fantasy.
Like, absolutely.
True.
But there are like levels to fantasy. By definition, high fantasy is in like the storyline takes place in a completely different world than reality, and low fantasy takes place in like the normal physical world, but it could still be magic. So like fantasy, you got to be really questionable what it means, but it's just like the fantastical storyline. You throw a dragon in it, I'm sure it's fantasy. I could care less where the hell you are, right?
So by that definition, sci-fi would just be kind of a subcategory of fantasy.
yeah.
Yep, I would consider sci-fi a sub
Yeah.
That
low
might
fantasy.
be a hot take, guys. That could be a hot take. Early topic one, hot take.
Wait, so
Star
by
Wars.
that logic,
Star Wars is a
does that
magical
mean-
story.
Star Wars, yeah.
Does that mean like Marvel is low fantasy?
Technically, yes, because it takes place in like the
That
normal
sounds like
reality.
a cuss, though, doesn't it?
It does, but that's like by the pure definitions I looked up earlier to bring up with this.
But
'Cause I was
DC
like,
is high fantasy.
yeah. See, right?
Interesting.
Get in the comments. Get in the comments. I kind of think similarly. I think there's it depends on your definition, right? I think swords, sorcery, anything that is not based in a reality, and especially if it has some element of like, you know, magic, supernatural things that are we would consider fantastical things in real life, right? So that's, you know, what was your first exposure? Now that we've defined it, what was your first exposure to fantasy in popular media? What was that? You know, think about being a little kid, whether it was a cartoon or a movie or a comic book. What was the first?
Had to be Disney movies.
I was going to say Mickey Mouse.
I was going to say,
Like-
Yeah, I
like,
mean, fairy
Interesting.
tales
Interesting.
count technically for me. But ever since I was 5, Lord of the Rings has been out for so long. I had my parents reading me Lord of the Rings books before I knew how to read. So that's been in my blood since the beginning. So like, I would argue books being a major media, honestly, versus like a main screen. But then there's also that freaking Hobbits movie and like the Lord of the Rings movie from like 1978.
The
like,
animated
everything
ones?
was That is absolutely crisp and is my favorite Lord of the Rings animated thing of all time.
Yeah,
Another hot
that-
take, but that thing is amazing.
That movie is good.
It's not a hot take. Are you kidding me? That movie's great.
Man, you should listen to my roommates, dude.
It might be a hot take that it's better than Peter Jackson's trilogy, though.
Animated.
I'm not on board. I'm not on board with that.
Yeah, that's blasphemy. But it's interesting you say that though, because I think I did have a lot of exposure to fantasy growing up, especially as little me learning to walk and talk and everything, reading books. Like the first thing that really grabbed me was I'll always remember going to see Lord of the Rings in theaters opening weekend. Like that's what like nailed it in. Like, hey man, this is your thing. You're into this, dude. And from then on, I mean, it was like it started. I didn't call it that back then, but I mean, me and all the neighborhood kids LARPing around playing Lord of the Rings in the neighborhood, trying to throw a ring off a treehouse.
Dude, I imagine for a lot of people it was Saturday morning. Cartoons like the X-Men animated series and stuff like that.
Yeah, dude.
Rescue Rangers.
Yeah.
I know with Disney movies, the one that I liked in particular, I'm not exactly sure what year it came out, but do y'all remember Treasure Planet? Y'all ever see Treasure Planet?
Yes.
Yes.
Underrated. It's got like
underrated.
a cult following.
Yeah, it's like in that like sci-fi, but also like pirate, kind of fantasy realm.
Oh, I love it so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like low key Spelljammer.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Well, and in the same vein,
Everybody's favorite.
Well, and I'll say The Hunt to Atlantis, made in the same generation of movies, and that one.
Those are both classics.
I had
underrated.
so many freaking water toys for the bathtub that were just the ships of the like Search for Atlantis film shit. It was wild.
Sick.
I love those.
Braden, what about you? What was the first thing that caught your eye for fantasy stuff?
I'd say, like, obviously Disney movies, but I'd say probably the Percy Jackson series was what got me into it, between the books and then those first two movies that came out. And then from there, just going into Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and all of the fantasy world.
And Percy Jackson is cool too because it's not only is it fantasy and it's the coming of age kind of story, but it also has like the historical kind of not historical, but ancient Greek and Roman kind of tie-ins that make it kind of stand out, in my opinion.
Well, and I'll have to add real fast before we move on. Anime, like Dragon Ball Z, is huge in pretty much everybody's childhood in some way, shape, or form. That has been going on since 1989. Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball original was like 1984 or some shit. So like, it's absolutely that's the most informative thing to me, and that's all like Japanese and Chinese fantasy fairy tale. So like.
Yeah,
it's
and Sailor Moon.
I think it's cool to see the different things, but like between that and Disney, we had everything we needed to get a lead in.
For me, I think it was three things in particular. One was Star Wars, 100%.
Yes, so real.
My parents liked Star Wars. It was definitely something I was aware of immediately, pretty much. As soon as I can have memories, like Star Wars stuff was going on. There was a book that I read at a very young age by a guy named David Eddings. The first one's called A Pawn of Prophecy, but he's got two whole series, The Belgariad and The Malorian. I was reading those in like elementary school. That story specifically, I think, is really, really what made me fall in love with fantasy. But honorable mention for Star Wars, for sure. And like you, Aaron, my dad also was reading me that. He had it was like the book that went with the animated movie. So it had stills from the animated movie in it.
Oh, so good.
And so, I remember him reading that to me as a kid. So I was indoctrinated by my parents fairly early on into being into fantasy. All righty. What is a magic system that you think stands out in fantasy? I gave some examples in the prompt, but I'll let you guys take it away. What do you think is I think there's a lot of different magic systems out there. So what to you stands out as being cool?
I'm going to feed off of what you just said, talking about Star Wars growing up. That's always been one that interests me. From like a scientific mind, the fact that there's like a physical element out there almost that can be controlled by some, like that's That's always something. As soon as little Jason watching Star Wars as a kid didn't understand all that, but as I got older, I was like, man, that's interesting. And then a little bit like, oh man, that's really cool. Like a physical manifestation that you can control. That's so cool.
Have you
hot
had
take,
your midichlorian count
sucked.
That is not a hot take.
Once a year.
It's the midichlorian was garbage, but like the original Star Wars, one of the best, like, because you didn't have to. It wasn't easy to describe. It was just like quite mystical, and those to me are the best kinds. I was gonna say that, and like hilariously enough, League of Legends. If you actually look into the lore of how their magitech works, excuse me, absolutely wild, because it's essentially just like a raw. Not like we have weather, they have magical like backlash, and you can harness it with the proper tech, and I loved that so much.
Oh.
That's pretty sick.
Well, what about also, enjoy going to what we know best on, at least here what we talk about the most with each other is D&D. I fucking love the fact that there's people that just they read hella books and figure out magic. Like, that's so cool.
I mean,
oh yeah,
D&D is such a classic. It's at least for us, for our generation and beyond.
And to me, it's hard to call it a unique magic system too. I don't know. It's
really
so
not.
refined.
It's a combination of a bunch of magic systems that are pretty common. Divine magic, component based. Learning the
which
actual...
is like classical witchcraft in real life, which is what I think was so cool about that.
Yeah, for sure.
I really like something specific that I really liked, and I wouldn't consider this magic necessarily, but like special ability, fantasy realm kind of stuff in Naruto.
Chakra is totally magic, and you can't tell me
Chakra,
otherwise.
yes, jutsu's also cool, special techniques, blah blah blah. But specifically I'm with all that. It's so badass. But specifically like the visual prowess stuff, like where they have like the Sharingan, the Byakugan, the Rinnegan, and there's like probably like 30 that I couldn't even tell you the name of. But they just like all have like the different abilities that they can do. Like the Byakugan, like you can see their chakra network through their body and like pinpoint, like ta 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 ta. I really thought that was a cool addition because it was kind of like a separate thing. Like you can learn jutsus and stuff like that. Like a bunch of people can, but like you're either born with this thing or, I mean, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it by now, you can steal it from somebody. But yeah, it's pretty sick.
Well, so another one that's like more pure fantasy that I really have to enjoy is like specifically Doctor Strange, because it actually leads into what Jason was saying about like, oh, I learned from a book, and it's like all you got to do is learn the hand signs and the proper words, and essentially anybody could learn magic in that universe, and it's all like hand sign runic language, and it all calls on random old gods and other forces throughout nature and otherwise. So like that is non-component magic, and I think it was very well done, and it was one of my favorite forms of that.
It's kind of like King
I
Killer.
have two. The first one is, I was just about to say, Patrick Rothfuss has a unfinished trilogy called The King Killer Chronicles. The first book is called The Name of the Wind, which does a pretty good job of describing that magic system where if you know the name of something, and this is something that I think transcends this series, like it's this idea, goes back, but knowing the name of something gives you power over it. And in this series, he has the ability to kind of, channel his magic that way, which is super cool. And then I'm going to shout out that same series again, the Belgariad and the Malorian. In that series, the magic is known as the will and the word. So it's like the will that you have, to do something, and then the word, which gives it, kind of power. And in that system, not everybody is entitled to be a part of that club, but those that are can use the will and the word to do magic. And I think that's dope.
That reminds me of the Aragon series, which is essentially like magic there is just a language of a dead race, and knowing the word and like having the intention gives you power over it.
I really enjoyed that series as well.
I did too. It was very good.
That's interesting.
Well, what do you guys think?
Anything I'm a huge fan of the anime Frieren, the way they do magic. It's a mix of like, studying to learn magic as well as kind of like the force as it just exists. And if certain people are able to use it. And it's kind of like a mix of belief in the fact that you can perform this spell, as well as kind of knowing the actual logistics behind what is happening when you're casting the spell. Can make it easier, and the more you study as well as cast spells and everything, you can expand your mana and spells and such.
That's cool. That's so cool. I've watched Freyrin and I never grasped that much about its magic system. I never quite. It's just like, wow, she really likes to shoot lasers, and that's about.
Well, here's another hot take. Y'all are all speaking. You're speaking another language to me with anime. I don't know anything about it.
Maybe that way.
Well,
I have a limited knowledge, but definitely not.
I'm gonna say I'll hit you with another one. Hilariously enough,
sit back and learn some.
Like the solo leveling. You won't know how many magical powers is actually just I'm an RPG now. Somewhere, that's it. That's your magic power. You're a fucking RPG, and it's insane to see a role playing game is like I have a transparent window that I talk into that'll show me my stats, and I can modify it. That's the gamer's like new age magic system, and it's very funny.
If you are into RPG stuff like that, read Dungeon Crawler Carl. It is.
I was just about to say, I like the magic system in Dungeon Crawler Carl. It's won't spoil anything, but I like the premise of it.
It's awesome. So now that we've kind of talked about all these different magic system, if you could do one. If you woke up tomorrow and you were able to use one of these systems, what's the most fun? What's the coolest one?
Teleporting.
Very specific.
It's teleporting.
Just only teleporting. That's all he cares.
Anything where they can teleport, it's that one. No, I'm just a sucker.
This guy hates driving.
I mean, I'd have to.
I want to wake up at 7:59 and be at work at 8 a.m.
I have to be that guy and go like, there's a lot of magic ones that'll let you teleport,
Yeah, true.
Runic magic, study magic, D&D magic, you can all teleport all through different means. Minus the teleporting, because that is so real. I was like, super speed, anything that makes me faster. I don't want to deal with traffic either. I felt that. But the Force, it would have to be Star Wars. There's something so freaking cool about the way it's so very fluid.
You just want a lightsaber, dude.
I want the creativity to go, you forgot I existed, okay? Like, that's the best shit to me.
I can tell you which one I'm definitely not picking, and that is... So let's start with D&D. Warlock, absolutely not. Cleric, divine magic, not for me. Freaking wizard, do you know how much they have to read? Like, the only type of magic user I would want to be from D&D would be a sorcerer. The innate, born with it,
in your blood
magician, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And only sometimes it goes wrong.
See, if you didn't mind being a freak, truly the powers you get from the Arcanotech in League of Legends is the absolute coolest shit to me. Like, you can shrug off damage, regenerate all sorts of health, have short range teleports, long range, like ethereal or non-touchable. I forgot the word. But all sorts of different stuff, and it's all about like what kind of tech you use to harness the raw magic. And that to me is like the most creatively fun that still uses something as a power source. A lot of magic is just, hey man, do you got it or you don't got it?
Right.
League of Legends is like, I can go find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
it's Superman, right? Like, that's got to be the best.
I'm gonna say I think I like Bioshock's magic, man. You just injected with some chemical experiment, and now you can shoot lightning out of your hand.
You can do that IRL, man. I can hook you up with some people.
I was gonna say we started talking about sci-fi again. So actually, a little side tangent hot take is like is like hyper augmentation through tech, like whether it's steampunk or arcanotech or just like I'm a cyborg now. Is that like fantasy enough to count as a magic system? Because you can do all sorts of kind of lasers
Brother,
and shit based upon what you're programmed with.
The computer you're talking to me on is doing nothing but tricking rocks into fucking thinking and projecting this image. Like, yes, that's magic. Come on.
That's so real.
I disagree. I think that is not magic. I think technology and magic are distinctly different, in my opinion. I do not think.
I would agree with that.
I do not think cyber tech is magic.
No, cyber augmentations aren't magic. No, I'll agree with that. But it's definitely. I think if you're going to look into cyberpunk, though, we're definitely leaning back towards fantasy, though. Maybe not magic, but it's definitely a fantasy power system. Because
I will say though, like, I mean,
like
the more we advance technologically, the closer we're getting to magic. That's
So
for
real.
sure. But we
I
might
don't
just.
know.
For sure.
Have y'all seen Daft Punk in Tron Legacy? That was magical as hell. You're just wrong. Honestly.
So jumping from cool systems to cool worlds, universes, cities, where if you could live in any fantasy place, what would it be? This is the hardest one, I think. This is like the toughest question for me personally.
I'd be a hobbit in the Shire sometime between Sauron first losing the ring and,
Right.
all that shit kicking off.
Yeah, fair.
You're like circa this year.
See, and I was doing,
Or you know
I
what,
was
like
doing
Tom
the-
Bombadil, I'd go chill with him.
I was doing the technology line of like, if I pick something too old school, well, if I accidentally shit my pants, I just have malaria and die. Or
True.
like, but too high tech fantasy, you start getting into more tech than magic skills at that point. I would probably, Lord of the Rings would be great. Like, it would be fantastic. It's all
He's
set
got to
up
pick the
well.
right timeline.
But you got to pick like the right time. That is such a real spot. But I don't think that's the best. I'd have to think about it a little more. But like, that matches a lot of like middle-aged, like Freyrin, any of the King Arthur stuff. Like that's all very specific magic, but it's old.
I want to
like,
modify
ancient.
this question. I want everybody to give two answers, and that is the same question, but the first part is if you were part of the magic, and the second part is if you were just a baker or whatever, like a candlestick
That's
maker.
what I was gonna say, because like I feel like that's like the thing is like a lot of these like on the topic that Jason was saying earlier with like the wizard stuff, there's somewhere you can learn, you just got to put in the work, and then there's somewhere it's like, yikes.
See,
I think what would be really sick is if we could count this Avatar: The Last Airbender. I think elemental abilities in general across all kinds of fantasy and fiction is fucking sick.
I was an elemental shaman in World of Warcraft, so.
Oh yeah.
See, I've actually, and you could pretty much pick any one, and I'd be fine with it. But it's got to be something with an anime power-based skill set, because like the anime shit, if you're that guy, you are like the magic dude. You're so broken. Like you are the freaking protagonist. It doesn't matter like where you are. If you're in an anime one, you've got some broken ass power probably somewhere you can find out, right? But if you're not magic, it's gonna have to be something more like modern-esque or like a little older. Like anything with witchcraft would be cool, because it's like, oh cool, I'm just gonna be a baker somewhere, you guys can fight each other with magic bombs. Like
Yeah.
No,
I think this is a really
my
hard
baker
question to
is the
answer.
Shire.
I think this is a hard question to answer for me because I think of like, okay, this is the train of thought. I'm thinking about Lord of the Rings. Well, electricity is pretty nice. You know what I mean? Having plumbing is pretty good too. So like, okay, that immediately makes me think modern setting. But then, how much am I going to care about the modern stuff if I'm out here flying around shooting spells? So it's hard to put myself in that situation. I think based on the initial thought I had where I would want it to be modern so I could have access to, what we have developed technology and magic, I was thinking like the Marvel universe. Like being a superhero would be pretty dope. And even if you weren't a superhero, that would still be kind of sick. And then, but like, if you're not rich in Lord of the Rings world, you're not having a good time.
Yeah, at all.
No, I mean that's true, but Again, that's my like. If
Maybe
I'm
not
a baker,
rich,
I'm
but like
chilling
if you're
in
not
the
in the
Shire.
Shire, if you're,
Yeah.
if you're out here in the country, in Rohan, raising horses, having to like scoop
Right.
shit and
I was gonna
You
say
know,
Bree
they
looked pretty bad. when
farm
they
your
showed
own
it off.
food. I'm not really looking for that lifestyle.
Now, I mean, if I could be anywhere like where I actually had to use, if I was the magic user, I know it's super depressing story and everything, but I mean, Doctor Manhattan has it kind of good. Like he can just
Oh,
pop
he's got
away
it
wherever
so
he wants to
good.
go. You know,
The Watchmen
yeah, he's
series,
a sad
yeah.
boy for sure, but
Watchmen. I haven't thought about the Watchmen in a while. That's pretty good. Yeah,
I haven't seen it or read it.
See,
it's dark.
yeah,
I believe.
please.
yeah, like they're all sad boys in that, sad boys and girls, but just having his abilities of being able to just like, like you said, teleportation. Like, hey man, this shit's getting overwhelming. I'm gonna go chill on Mars for like 6-7 years. Like I'm gonna go chill.
That's why it goes back to Superman too. Like he can, you have unlimited power if you're Superman. Like that dude can do it all.
So does
Except use kryptonite with anything.
Yeah, well,
Does
Everybody gets
Pluribus count as low fantasy? Because I wouldn't mind not being an infected person in Pluribus.
So
true.
real.
That would be clutch.
Even if they're I want this.
See,
Boom.
you just made me think about it. Along the same vein, something like Invincible or The Boys. That'd be great to just be a regular dude in, because it's normal ass shit. You just have to not be in a major city. Like,
The boys is a
4.
little rough. I don't know if I want to live in that world.
I think
Yeah,
both
you're sort of saying like being a normal person in the boys is chill. I don't
Well,
see them treating most normal people.
I don't want to
chill.
exist in the same universe as Homelander.
That's
One of the
fair.
first normal
No.
people you see in that show gets ran through
Ran
by
through.
a train.
that is true. But they're in a major city. You just got to pick where you are in that timeline.
Should have been standing there, basically.
Was
Right,
look,
right.
was the airplane in a major city? No, it's over in
Yes.
ocean. You're not safe. You're not safe.
Technically, she stepped into a bike lane, so you know how that
Oh,
goes.
You're never really safe. You know what I mean? We all get in cars and drive around and stuff. So,
Yeah.
I think, does the risk really increase as a normal person when living in the same world as Homelander? Slight, like 0.001%.
It's like, it's already kind of low key bad enough that I live in a world where we fantasize about that cool stuff. If I had to live in a world where like people had abilities and shit and I didn't, nah, dude. And I wouldn't know the difference, I guess, comparatively, but still, that might be
That'd be
worse.
fantasy.
Low key, I'd be
Maybe
like,
talk
call it
about
a
us.
call it
wish.
a cop out, but my place, if I'm regular, is just Percy Jackson because I would have no clue anything else was going on.
Oh, that's actually very
Ignorance is bliss.
That's
So, yeah,
no,
I
that's
guess-
super
yeah.
fair.
It'd be no
And what if you
different
weren't?
than right now.
Yeah, be a
you
normal
already say
person in Magic Wizard book.
If I was, then probably free run. I like the magic system, and then on top of that, Demon King's dead. Everything's peaceful. And you just go about my life just with
Hey,
magic.
spoiler alert.
Spoiler
Maybe.
alert for episode
So-
1.
So what?
Hey,
Percy Jackson, like I
I've
know a
never
little
seen
bit
that
about
episode.
it,
I've
but
never seen.
Percy Jackson, he's just like doing his thing with the gods. No one on Earth knows about it.
Well, so there's a thing called the mist that basically makes it to where mortals don't notice anything that's going on
Oh,
in
yeah.
the
For
It's
sure that
young
will
adult,
then.
Gods.
Jason.
Yeah,
like a
I-
barrier.
well,
There's just
in
mist.
JJK.
It's just
It's
mist.
just mist, man.
yeah, okay. Well, I mean, okay. Well, I didn't know that. That sounds like a chill world. I'm kind of with you. Like I'm just Jason. man.
and it's
I'm
set in
chilling.
modern
I don't
times,
care
so
what's
it's like
going
not
on.
much is different than how I am right now.
Just gods
Hell
fighting
yeah.
in the background, which might
There's
be
a
exactly
comic-
right now.
Called Damage Control that Marvel puts out that's just about, I think they actually might have made a TV show, but it's just about people that work in like going to like clean up after superhero battles and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
I think that's pretty hilarious. You can do that.
That's so real.
All right. Lots of good answers. Next question though. Who is your favorite? This is a big one. Who is your favorite fantasy protagonist? We're talking the Luke Skywalkers of the world. Who is the best? The Gokus, the Gandalfs, the Frodos.
What
Who's your
the
favorite?
hell?
It depends if you know the lore or
tough,
not.
dude.
but my immediate response is I have no idea, and my secondary response is Sun Jin Woo from Solo Leveling. Like, spoiler alert, the man rises from a dude who's the weakest thing ever to literal above God.
This is new. This came out a couple years ago.
Yeah, but there's been a light novel I've been reading the translation of that's been completed for a few years, and the anime's only been coming out for like the last year or a couple years or so. So I know more than the anime knows. I get to be that guy, hipster, about it. I know more than you do, but
it gets pretty crazy. I've read the whole thing.
I don't think that's the right label.
yeah, hell yeah, Braden, dude, it gets wild. I would love to be Sun Jin Woo and just be like, cool, I almost died. I'm now gonna just absolutely wreck every single thing now till the end of existence. I'm good.
I love seeing those edits with him.
Like, it's so real. Like, it's the aura. It really is more like the aura and the fact that it's like modern time that makes it so good.
Hell yeah. Next.
Man, that is a tough question, and I feel like it's just such a personal bias. Lord of the Rings is such a big part. Like we have a whole section of our house that's just Lord of the Rings, like memorabilia and stuff. But
I want to see that.
I got you. I'll take a picture. But
Next episode, guys.
Side21 cribs.
Side21 and cribs tour.
I'm down.
So
I got a shelf full of D&D stuff over there.
I mean, just like Gandalf and the whole magic system in Lord of the Rings, because you could get into the Silmarillion, get into like the Valar and all that. But then that's just gods. But like just Gandalf is I think he's number one.
But is he your protagonist?
One of the few people that I feel like
is he the protagonist?
He's definitely the manufacturer of a lot of what's happening.
He's
the time
important
period of the Lord
enough
of the
to
Rings.
count.
That would count. Okay, I was curious.
But Gandalf is one of those. I like him because he's very realistic, where he weighs do the means justify the ends, and oftentimes probably not. But it's a flawed protagonist in my opinion. And that flaw is what makes him interesting. Especially the movies are amazing. Top 3 movies probably for me, but even in the books you get to see a lot more where he's kind of manufacturing the fight against evil, and that's where it's like, man, I don't know, this dude's kind of a shitbag. He's sending a lot of humans to war, but do the means justify the ends, and it's that flaw that just makes him such an interesting, in my eyes, a protagonist.
So I think, speaking of aura, Obi-Wan Kenobi is like
Old Ben.
He's like, what is
Good
it?
answer. Good answer.
Yeah, he's like not unironically, what am I saying? Like I don't know what I'm saying. He's just like aura farming on accident, basically. He's just doing his thing and it's just working, bro. He's
That's
like
part
got
of it.
some of the coolest fights, or he's in like majority of the like best fights in Star Wars films, I think.
He actually literally
at
goes
least in
through
the
the entire
prequels.
war on both ends for the most part of the Clone Wars, the Sith War, and then like the end of it all. The only reason he doesn't make it to more wars is because he dies for Luke. So like, no, that's a good answer.
No, and it's also like he's just like a good person, just like a really good person. Also a little bit conflicted by like the the Jedi ways, but he just like loved Anakin so much, Just oh dude, I just got goosebumps. Okay, I can't get too far into it, but he's just like a really good person. The drop down with Grievous and his army around, and he's just like, fuck it, let's ball. And I mean, he was in the freaking Darth Maul fight with Qui-Gon Jinn, ended that. He just all those kind of things. Yeah, I think a really good is protagonist like one. There's one person that's a protagonist, or
I think the heart of the word is like, this is the hero of the story. You know what I mean? But I think that both of these answers are totally acceptable.
Okay.
At one point, they were the protagonist of what they were doing. No doubt about it.
Yeah, dude. Oh man.
Hello there.
Hello there.
What do you think, Braden?
I think I'm definitely gonna have to go with Lord of the Rings as well, Aragorn. It's just a classic. I've got The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings books sitting on my nightstand. Like I don't know. There's something special about those books and those movies. But I'm also a big fan of, if you would count this fantasy, Jake from Avatar, like the blue people.
Oh
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, fair.
Super
That's sci-fi fantasy. That totally counts to me. Well, shit, if you're going to say something like that, I've been sitting here thinking extra. Pretty much every good, like, anime and a protagonist has some sort of horrible backstory. So I was like, you could kind of pick any of the people from Final Fantasy. And I would argue any Final Fantasy game has an excellent protagonist for a magic thing, because it's very D&D style magic. So that's all.
They remake them enough
together.
times, they must be good.
And like, you know, I could say Cloud, or I could say Leon, or, you know, Zane. Like, I could, you know, 7, 8, 9, Titus from 10. Like, anybody could argue any of them is an excellent protagonist in there.
Hearts.
Yeah, and they all have a really cool magic system, like a mana pool kind of pull with the spell list. So D&D style.
I really wish Dungeon Crawler Carl wasn't still coming out with books, because I want to talk about it so bad. Because Princess Donut, I love the way Princess Donut chooses her magic. Like, if you don't know, she's just very chaotic, does what she wants, and I think that's the spirit
1,000% worth the read, and the audiobooks are incredible. The guy that does the voices for the audiobooks is legendary. Like, he is so good. They're really good. I am going to... There's a lot... Most of mine are from books, I think. You know, especially the ones I've already talked about. But I think the person that came to my mind very first, just now after I asked this question, was Peter Parker. Spider-Man, dude.
Real.
I have loved Spider-Man since I was a little kid. He's always been my favorite Marvel superhero. I think Peter Parker is a very relatable, you know, he's, you know, solo leveling, right? Like, he was a puny nerd that, you know, and then he got bit by the spider, and you know, has family tie-ins, you know, with Uncle Ben and Aunt May, and then there's MJ. Peter Parker, that little micro part of the Marvel universe, chef's kiss to me.
People also don't understand how, like, powerful Peter Parker is, too. Dude's a badass.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, he messes around and, you know, fights with the Avengers and stuff. So, like, there's no order too tall for it, especially once... You know, that's one of the things that pissed me off about the MCU is how much they, like, babied Peter Parker. And I know they introduced him while he was still in high school, but, like, the amount of hand-holding they made it seem like he needed, it was so far away from the comics where he really had to figure it out on his own. So either way, but Peter Parker, that's my answer.
Well, that's why
on that note,
be number one.
I was gonna say, on that note, I've heard how you feel about this character, Hunter. I'm a huge fan of Cyclops from X-Men.
Yikes. Yikes.
I mean, that's... Any of the X-Men's also a good choice. I can very much feel that. There's,
I don't know enough
once
about
again,
Cyclops.
tragic backstories. Everybody's got one. But the X-Men's is pretty relatable even to real life, but still having, like, really cool power scaling and stuff.
The X-Men universe is insane. It's so cool. The idea of mutants is such a open book, right? Because you can have any kind of mutation.
Yeah.
It was a brilliant thing to do, like on Stan Lee or whoever came up with X-Men's part. Like, it's just the device. It is an incredible storytelling device. Mutations.
I mean, if you like X-Men, everybody should check out My Hero Academia. It's exactly the same premise, just for fucking Japanese kids in high school.
There you go.
It's great. Recommend.
Next question. Last question before hot takes, if we have any. What is a villain? So basically the same question, other side of the coin. Who's the villain? Who's that guy? Who's the scariest, baddest, coolest dude? You know, Sauron, Thanos.
I can say one that I thought of that I thought this about when I was younger, at least, and it's Hades from Disney's Hercules, and I know, and it's for very simple reasons. He's just
probably in Percy Jackson too.
Loud and funny and like on fire, and I was like, that is so badass, dude. And like when he gets like, he's like blue fire because he's like cool and chill, whatever, and then like when he gets mad, it goes like red flames, dude. Yeah, I thought that was incredible. And then Pain and Panic. Oh my god.
James Woods, who voiced Hades in Hercules, did incredibly well with that role. Like,
so
he
good.
nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
legend.
funny. I was kind of torn between Ursula and Maleficent. So it's funny you say another Disney
Okay.
because, like, Maleficent though, because I mean, Maleficent. If you put Maleficent up against any dragon from any fucking fantasy, she's gonna wipe the floor with them. First of all, and second of all, I'm even gonna take it a little bit further. She's like the mastermind behind Kingdom Hearts and the Heartless. Like, come on, that's some crazy evil shit going on.
Yeah, that's
fair.
fire.
See,
you learn that stuff about
I've
that
got
and
another
that.
anime one, but it comes with a loaded question of can the protagonist of the anime be the villain of the story?
There's no rules here, Aaron.
Because if anybody's
Is
seen
this
Overlord,
going-
Overlord
Okay.
is one of the coolest anime I've seen. It's got 4 seasons out. The main guy is literally trying to take over the world. Like, your protag of the story is inciting wars, rebellions, abducting people, torturing them, killing them in the background.
Sounds like an
he's the
anti-hero.
bad guy, but he's
Yikes.
taking over the world, and it's so
That's
fun to watch
less
him
than
do
an
it.
Anti-hero. It's like that's just a bad guy story.
No, it's truly he's the villain in a fantasy, like got transplanted in a world and is like, screw it, we ball, I'm gonna take over this world, and is doing it thoroughly, and it's so fun to see.
Like Light Yagami from Death Note.
Yeah, exactly. He's the bad guy, but it's a fun ride.
Yeah, it is a fun ride.
But otherwise, I would actually have to just say Sauron. Like, I know that's a classic
Sure.
one, like non-anime based, because there's a lot of fun anime villains. Sauron's just the classic epitome, shadowy bad guy in the background, which is like, it's scary enough just knowing there's some horrifying monster back there the whole time.
Melkor's
right?
even scarier though.
True, but it's like it hasn't been seen. There's lore, but I think Sauron's like has it.
I'll say
There's layers
they-
to this, huh?
The show gets a lot of hate, and Jason, I know with you being a huge LOTR fan, I know you probably have things to say. But Rings of Power, the way they portrayed him in that, especially the second season, they sold the evil for me. Like, he seemed like a very bad man in the second season of that show. And whether it's lore accurate or not, I really enjoyed that series.
I did too. And that's kind of what prompted that answer, because it's like, no, it's so good. The games do him justice. Check them on YouTube. They're called Death Battle. They made a Sauron versus the Lich King from World at War. It's great. I love it. Sauron's just like that guy to me.
I think Vader's that guy.
Oh,
Another good choice.
If we're going with classics, I think Darth Vader is that guy.
yeah. I can agree
Aaron,
with
you
that.
just kind of kicked something in, man, and I want to throw this out. I can't believe this hasn't been mentioned here. Is Adventure Time, the Lich?
Oh, that's so real,
You're so
actually.
right.
That's
Nice.
such
I'm
a
Ice King.
dangerous villain.
Oh,
He said that and it just kicked out. I can't believe we haven't even brought up Adventure Time once, because the magic there is like, that's
Absolutely
top tier. That's one of
insane.
the top tiers for me. I love it. Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't really like Adventure Time for the longest time, but it grew on me. It's quite the thorough lore. It's pretty low.
Yeah, it's one of those shows when you get to the end of it, you're like, holy shit, this was on Cartoon Network? Like, this was a kid
Yeah.
show? What the hell?
And the music.
But the Lich, the Lich King or the Lich in Adventure Time is a scary dude.
Yeah.
We've already
he's-
mentioned my answer a few minutes ago, but Homelander and the boys,
Oh.
terrifying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
terrifying,
A
for
Superman with the psychopathic
Terrifying.
baby mentality is terrible.
It's all that breast milk.
That's not good for you. All right, we're getting close to time, so I am going to accelerate this along a little bit. That will bring us to our last section of Side 21 and, which is hot takes. What are some hot takes that you might have about popular fantasy in media, such as Rings of Power is a great TV show?
Science is magic if you don't know the difference.
Okay, that feels more philosophical than.
But it's because earlier we said
Write
cybernetics
that
are
down.
not.
Write that down.
It's like cybernetics aren't magic, but if you don't know that I have cybernetics and I shoot a laser out of my hand, is that not magic?
Ooh.
That is a good point, though.
Well, that's everybody's
Interesting.
homework. Think about that. We're going to put a poll. Join our Discord. There will be a poll in there, so look out for that. Is cybernetics magic if the person doesn't know? I think yes. You know what that makes me think of is like exposing like alien populations to technology that they haven't developed yet.
Oh yeah.
Like how the
Yeah.
Ewoks thought C-3PO was God, kind of,
It makes me think of this though. So in that respect, is it magic if somebody makes a card disappear, but like isn't really? It's
You don't
an
know how the trick
illusion.
worked, right?
But I don't know how it worked. I don't know how they did that. So that's real magic.
It's an illusion, Michael.
I'm sticking on my hardline stance here. It's not magic. If there's no freaking magic involved, it's not magic.
Freaking magic.
Yeah. Incantations, spells.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hot take?
I hate to say, I do hate to say this, but in Lord of the Rings,
It's the best kind of hot take. It's about to be spicy.
in Lord of the Rings, I mean, is it truly magic if like you're imagining a world where these gods exist, like the Valar are real, they're singing everything into existence, they're breathing life and everything. You have the first light. Is it really magic if the gods are kind of just doing it for you?
Oh.
I think divine power counts as magic.
Okay, I mean, see, but it's philosophical. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and question anybody's real
So
life.
for our last
beliefs,
segment of
but...
the day, it's deep philosophical thoughts with Side21.
Deep philosophical hot takes.
Hold on, I'm starting Inya. Yeah. Anything else, guys? Any hot takes?
I mean, I have another
Yeah,
one
what
because
this
I was
time?
thinking about this hot take, not hot take, but like component magic is not magic; it's science. Real magic is like midichlorians or like runics or words because that isn't causing a reaction. Like taking Eye of Newt and guano and making a fireball is just a chemical reaction. Magic
Chemistry.
cannot use components.
but that's like not. But like if you take those two things are real things, and if you smash them together right now, I promise you a fireball is not going to come out of your hand. So.
But
I
it's
was
gonna
still
say,
like
how
using real stuff. I feel like the fact of you're using something to make a reaction lessens the magical feeling of it.
So it's like not like our science, but it's like more their
It's still
science.
a science, yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, but then so is a wizard reading books.
We could have done a
Exactly.
whole episode on the definition of magic, I think.
And that's why
Yeah.
my hot take is I'd argue that like runes and words and like the force is more magic than like I use bat guano and sulfur to make a fireball.
Okay.
They're both in magic systems. One feels way more magic than the other.
Well, there you go, folks. There's Aaron's hot take. Anybody
Light 'em
else
up.
have anything they feel like sharing? My hot take was Rings of Power is good. I also like pretty much every Star Wars movie I've ever watched. Some more so the second time I watched them. I think that's my hot take. People shit on things too much.
I was just going to say, I hate the last 3 Disney Star Wars.
Well, I'm talking about y'all.
There you go. Hot take. I hate them. Rogue One was great, but
Rogue One is great.
True.
about the only good one out of them.
All right, guys. Well, I think that is going to wrap it up for this episode of Side21. And thank you so much for watching. Please check us out on social media at Side21 TV. We have a wonderful merch store at Side21.tv. We have a growing Discord community that we would love to see you be a part of. And we would love to see you in every single one of those places. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. We will see you next time on Side21. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.